of Spotsylvania County during the Civil War. As you can see, we have a wide view all the way about 3/4 of a mile to a position known as Hazel Grove. That hill with the Confederate guns, you could barely make it out from here. So that line of sight came all the way through this position we're at now, called Fairview, all the way to the Chancellorsville crossing clearing, which would have consisted of a large brick house, the Chancellor House. That's all Chancellorsville really was. It wasn't a big city or town. It was one big brick house and a couple outbuildings around it. This was basically the center of the entire Union line. It kind of came to a point here. It extended a little bit west on Plank Road, and then it kind of angled north from here as well. So Hazel Grove, the position off in the distance, had been occupied by the Union Army the night before what we're going to talk about, the night of May 2nd. There were Union troops and guns up there. But General Hooker, the Union Army of the Potomac commander, felt that Hazel Grove was not a good spot to try to have hanging out there like a sore thumb. It would be kind of like a salient in military terms. It could be potentially surrounded by the enemy and annihilated. So Hooker ordered that Hazel Grove be abandoned. That takes place first thing in the morning. Confederates are quick to go ahead and take advantage of this. Confederate artillery colonel by the name of Edward Porter Alexander is able to immediately assemble about 30 cannon and move them into position on Hazel Grove, where they commence firing down this opening into the Union troops that were located here and beyond to the headquarters of the entire Union Army here, which was the Chancellor House right across the intersection. So first thing in the morning on May 3rd, you had somewhere around 100 guns that start firing as fast as they can. 30 guns, Confederate guns over at Hazel Grove. There's about 15 Confederate guns further out the Plank Road west to here, which is what's today Route 3. So these Confederate guns are firing this direction. Hazel Grove guns coming down this way, and then about 45 Union guns in this Fairview position trying to respond to that Confederate fire as much as possible. So if you have about 100 guns firing about 3 shots a minute, that's more than 1 shot a second, and it's going to be continuous for hours at a time here in the morning. So we're going to go ahead and start this program by firing 1 shot to give you an idea of what 1 cannon would sound like. Keep in mind, you're going to have to multiply this times about 100. And then keep in mind, you're just going to hear this gun firing. For every gun that fired an exploding projectile, there would be a secondary explosion somewhere else where that round ended up. So you can almost say that for most of these guns, there'd be 2 explosions. One coming from the gun itself, and one wherever the projectile ended up. So keep that in mind as we fire our first shot, and then we're going to tell you a little bit more about how the action played out here, and we will fire a second shot at the conclusion of the program. As you can imagine, this is going to be rather loud. If you are sensitive to loud noises, when you hear the command, ready, that would be an opportune time to maybe put your fingers in your ears or your hands over your ears. So, go ahead and do this for us. Load! Haste! 3-second fuse! Firing! Secure the piece.